Hello, sexy souls, and welcome to another episode of the Move with Love podcast. I am April, your host, healer, and guide, and I am so thrilled to introduce you to Sara, who is a creative soul who is passionate about being of service to others from a heart-centered, nourished, and authentic place. She lives out her desire to hold space for the expansion, soothing, and healing of others as she is a lifelong educator and learner, mama to four beautiful souls, and as a Reiki energy healer. Her intention is to embody that which she wishes to see in the world, grounded in mindful practices such as meditation, journaling, gratitude, and grace. She hopes to be a mirror of empowerment to her students, children, and peers alike, and to act as a reminder of their power and divinity to create a life that they are inspired and fulfilled by. Please welcome to the show, Sara.
Oh, thank you so much for having me here. It's a true honor. And I so look forward to connecting with you in all the many capacities that we have and will continue to.
Welcome. I am so excited. Your friendship, your guidance, this soul family connection has been such a gift. And I just wanted to invite you onto the show because you're too magical. I want to share your magic with everyone I know. So I want you to tell me what is lighting you up right now. Tell me what's happening in your life and let's get started.
Yes. So that's such a beautiful question because I think that's what guides a lot of my creation, a lot of who I am, a lot of what I align myself with. It's that lit up from the inside out. So many things actually, within my own offerings and my own creations. But I think, a big part of the unleashing and the unraveling of myself has been this beautiful writing of a book that I've been a part of recently with the Studio Press self-publishing series, Collective Voices #4. And a bunch of us women came together from different walks of life, not knowing each other, not having any information about each other, and kind of just leaning in and saying yes to ourselves. And it's been such a beautiful unraveling and, the power of intention. I set myself up with the intention to, discover and lean into new parts of myself. And it's delivered on so many levels and more. And I know that it's just the beginning of continued creation and expression. So yeah, that's definitely at the forefront for sure right now.
Okay, so let's expand on this book. Okay, so tell me what your chapter was about.
Yeah. So the beautiful thing is that we haven't really revealed the details to each other, to our audience. And that it's in itself is just so beautiful because we've connected with each other far beyond our words and far beyond our stories. And it's just such a reminder that it is in our humanness and in our vulnerability to express ourselves and to lean in and to show up that we find each other. So yeah, without giving too many details away, it really is just kind of an unraveling of myself. And the peak points of the chapter are really my discovery as a mom and in birthing each one of my children, and in the most beautiful way, birthing a version of myself along the way. So my firstborn, 7 years old now, and that's where it all started, setting the intention of how I wanted to show up as a mom and who I wanted to be and the space I wanted to provide. And it just started with him just, birthing a version of myself and, walking through life side by side and being open to teach each other and to learn so much from each other. And it unraveled from there into my other children. And, some I got to hold and cherish physically, and some I got to cherish, on a soul level and a soul embodiment. But yeah, that's really, the basis of it is just through my own discovery and learning as a mother, to 4 beautiful children, and just learning about myself and birthing myself each time. So it's such a cherished part of my life that is definitely the peak of my becoming. So it's a beautiful capture.
Oh, I am so looking forward to reading this. Yeah, the unfolding, or just how you express yourself. Because I have to say, like, whether it's a text message or a voice note that I get from you, I feel your love.
Mm-mm.
I feel just the words just coming through this text or voice. I'm like, oh, I felt seen, I feel seen and heard. And you are honestly so gifted to be this true vessel. And so if I feel that love through a text message from you, of course the words are just gonna come from the page, and whoever's reading it, I have no doubt that they'll feel your love through those words.
Thank you.
And so the relationship that I have with you is, I see you as like such a beautiful example of a divine feminine mother in this modern world. And whether it's whatever advice that I've reached out, but I want to, yeah, thank you for being in my corner. And something that something that came just a few months ago, that the early pregnancy loss, or having that experience of a miscarriage where there was life in the physical form, and then that soul went back to source. And that was a level of grief that I didn't, I I I never saw coming, and I didn't know how to navigate it. However, when I reached out to you, you said all the right words. And so I want to ask, like, how did you navigate through that? And I want you to just be open and share how whatever comes through.
Thank you for that. Firstly, it's just such an honor to be in your world in that capacity. And so the feeling is so mutual. What an honor to share that with you and to hold your hand through it. And that is a big intention of mine, just a reminder. And I've said it to you so many times over our time together, but like, we were never meant to do this alone, and so that you feel that, and that that you have that love and support it means so much to me. And I think what made it, in a sense, easier to relate to and to hold that space and to hold your heart was that I did experience it myself. And I spoke to you as I spoke to myself, and it planted me right back in that experience. And it reminded me of the words that, I comforted myself with, and that served me so well and so to the depths of my core, and led me on my healing, that, I just offered exactly that, my heart. And it's never something that you can prepare for. It's never something that we are taught or know how to navigate. And in a sense, that's the beautiful pureness and rawness of it, and learning of it, So I think for me, in having, my son, who is just such a magical being, and I bless the day that he ever chose me to come through in this lifetime. And I kind of speak to this in my book as well, but he really just set me up in so many ways. And a lot of it through tragedy that we would experience at such a young age. He endured 3rd-degree burns to both the palms of his hands at only 13 months old. And, he just put all of my preconceived notions as what a role of a mom is completely on their head and out the window. And he just captivated me in his inner knowing, and shone through at 13 months without many words, but just let his soul break right through, and led my husband and I, Adam, right through the process, and just stood in his inner knowing, like, that mirror and that reminder to me that, like, hey, mom, I chose you to love me and to hold my hand and to, rest my head and to be the mirror and all the things that I know that you're capable of. But I'm here to do my thing. And my soul has its purpose and has its way to show up in this world and to be a light in this world, far beyond what you can even comprehend. And so it was that first example that really just reminded me that, our children don't belong to us. We are merely the vessel that they choose so sacredly and so beautifully to come through and live their purpose. And it has nothing to do with us or our control or how much we love them or how much we hope for them or wish for them or all those things. They will flourish and bloom right before our eyes. Our love is just but a layer of that. And so I owe a lot to that experience with Noah, because he taught me so much without words. He just embodied it. And he gave me the tools and the foundation to really step into who I really wanted to be as a mom and to hold that space. And it supported, that miscarriage, because I was brought back to that space where it was out of my control. And so I reminded myself and grounded myself and reassured myself of, I was chosen either way, and my son, who I can say my second son, because he's visited me on many occasions and spoken to my heart. And it just reminded me that he chose me, and he knew, and he has his inner knowing and his purpose and his light and all his things, irregardless of me. But he chose my body to house him for the short amount of time, to love him, to mourn him, to, say goodbye to the physical. But it never took away from that embodiment that we shared, and that we shared a body. We felt each other. We mourned each other. And, while it was hard, and I think about him often, and my children think about him often, and, they speak to him often, I'm rest assured in his purpose, and I'm rest assured in what he has taught me and what he's allowed me to continue to hold within myself, and to know that, I'm capable of this, and I was chosen to do this. And it just reminded me of my belief in the higher source, and the belief in where our loved ones are, and that they truly never leave us. And so he was just an example to practice that, to practice it, and to truly believe it from a deep place, not just to speak it. And so, through the mourning and through the grief and through the tenderness that still rests on my heart, I'm grounded in that. I'm grounded in that. And I just shared my heart with you to hopefully provide some comfort and to wrap my arms around you in a way that could shed some light on your own experience.
And you definitely did. Thank you. And the tears are flowing.
Mm-hmm.
And I am filled with so much gratitude right now, embodying love, because I felt held, and you were so grounded and like an anchor of love. And hearing your story, I'm like, wow, thank you to you, Sarah. Thank you to Noah. Thank you to your children. It's like we are all connected in this divine dance, and you being, leading the way and just living. Yeah, when I say like living and leading by example of this divine mother, I'm like, you truly walk the walk and talk the talk. And it's inspiring and empowering. And I know this is a ripple effect beyond time and space, beyond your children, beyond this book, because you are leaving a legacy. So thank you for existing and being born.
That means so much to me. Thank you so much, my love.
And when you say what you what you learned from your sons, what you learned from your children. Can you elaborate on what you learned and the tools that you mentioned that you learned from Noah, who is this earth angel?
He really is. He really is. I think it just revealed myself, and on a lot of levels, like, all the things that I was, but it just really put it into action. It put it right in front of me. And it reminded me of my own purpose and the space that I wanted to hold. And it just encapsulated all the extensions of my heart that are out in the world. It's like it redefined my purpose as why I wanted to be an educator, why I wanted to touch lives, how I wanted to reach the hearts of others, why, I believe in community and building circles through meditation and all the things. It just, yeah, motherhood is like the pinnacle of that, because it's just the prime example of unconditional love. And it's the physical embodiment of your creation and your love, and it asks that of you time and time and time again. So yeah, so much has come from my children, and I bow down to them on so many levels that, I get to learn from them, and I'm open to learn from them. And I think that is what our relationship and our exchange is grounded in, that we are on the same playing field. We are both here in our bodies, in our souls, to learn. Nobody's on a pedestal. I'm not a mother that is more wiser or more, I never approached motherhood that way. It was just, we are here on level playing field to hold each other's hands, to bask in each other's human experience, to learn so much from each other. And I continue to lean into that, because they are my greatest teachers and my greatest mirrors of where I'm at and what needs healing within myself and how I'm showing up and who I want to show up with, and to kind of put me back in my own alignment. So yeah, so many things I could talk about forever.
It's true. And I'm like leaning in, I'm like, yes. And because, yeah, being a mother for Bella Luna, it's like, it's such an adventure every day.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's a lot of fun with a lot of personality, but yeah, it's like a mirror, like, oh,
yeah,
where can I be better for her? But I love what you said earlier. It's like, I get to learn from them.
Yeah.
What a way to look at the old paradigm with just parents being the authority.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that because I know my relationship with my parents, and we look up to mom and dad.
Yeah.
We're like, for food, shelter, and clothing, for survival, for everything. And it's like, now that we're adults, I'm like, oh, I don't need that external approval, validation, because and so it's like it took me to do that inner child healing. It took me to do that inner work, outer work, to now see our children are our biggest teachers. And oh wow.
And I think that's it too, right? It's like, you see, they arrive in their inner knowing. They are the most attuned when they arrive. It's the opposite of what I was conditioned to believe, where it's like, okay, you're a blank slate and you need to be conditioned and modeled. And no, it's like the exact opposite in my experience. It's like they arrive attuned to their frequency, their inner knowing. They are in love. They are in their natural element. And I just felt that to be so sacred and such a missed opportunity to not make room for that, and to not accentuate that, and to not create the space to be able to flourish in that. And so I really make that the center of everything within my household, to bring it back to them, where it's like, okay, you're struggling, but like, what you need, or, you're feeling this emotion. Drop into your body, drop into yourself. What is it that feels good? What is it that means nourishment to you? And I can only be an example of my own nourishment and my own alignment and my own, replenishment. But that I really want them to feel empowered and to have that space and that confidence right away from the very beginning to know themselves, to know how to pivot, to know how to, hey, you know what, this is what I need, and this is what I know to be true, and to have space for that. So I'm very mindful of that. And even as a teacher, I started out my career that way too, where it was like, we're going to hold this space, that we're going to be equal, and we're here to teach each other, and we're here to learn about ourselves and our triggers and our coping strategies and our right away, So I was teaching grade 1 for about 10 years, little 6-year-olds, dropping into their space of, navigating their emotional intelligence and knowing when they're kind of going through the different ebbs and flows, and having that toolkit to rely on to say, hey, you know what, this is what makes me feel good. This is how I pivot into something else. This is how I honor my feelings. This is how I honor the feelings that don't feel good. And I just think it's just such a disservice to not provide that for children, because they know it and they feel it and they are natural. It's just more of just giving that space for them to flourish in it and to bloom in it and to give life to it and accentuate it. So, yeah.
Wow. Like standing ovation to that. I'm like, I'm going to rewind and listen to this podcast again, because it's like, even right now, I'm like, I'm still navigating the heavy, deep, I don't want to label them dark emotions, but the heaviness, like, it's like, so that's why I would leave you a voice. I'm like, and you would just say the same thing, like drop into your body, lean into the closest thing that feels good.
Yeah.
And what was that, like that metaphor that you have with like that ladder, like that next.
Right. Yes. Like just go to the next best feeling, if it's, you're in anger and it's like, okay, the next best feeling might be resentment, and it's still not a great feeling, but it's better. So it's like, I think we put so much pressure on ourselves, and we reach for joy, we reach for happiness, we reach for bliss, but sometimes those are just too unattainable, and you got to just be real with where you're at. And as long as it just feels a little bit lighter and a little bit better, then you're moving in the right direction, and the momentum is already shifted. So yeah, that's another little.
Yeah. And so I love how you're this grade 1 teacher and this divine mother, because I wish I learned all of this stuff when I was younger. So how do we duplicate you into like teaching kids that? But hopefully, yeah, this episode or your book just kind of just reaches mothers and teachers around the world to support children in their truth, in that space, to just connect to themselves and their body. And you're right, because they are fresh from source. They are closer to source, and even like incubating in the womb. Like when I experienced the miscarriage, it was a friend who's like, they're the closest thing to source in this physical world. It's like they just returned back to source and reminding you to go back to source. And I'm like, oh, that's what I needed to hear. The reminder to connect back to source, to God, to universe, whatever the word people resonate with. And it's like, I would hear the message, like, love yourself the way you would love me. And I'm like, oh, that's the reminder.
Yeah.
That was the lesson that I needed to hear, was to love myself the way I would love the new soul coming through me. And on that note, with love embodiment, can you elaborate on that and what it means to you?
Yeah, so I think from when I was young, I had profound words. I did. And it was a very internal process. I was never very vocal or kind of loud in my expression, for lack of a better word. So, my process was very internal and profound and reflective, and yeah, embodiment always felt most natural to me. It's like, yeah, we can say whatever we want to say, but to really like feel it in our bodies, to align our words to our actions, to align our intention to how we actually follow through in life, or how we show up in life. Like that was always so profound to me. And I think for a long time, I was shy about it, or I didn't embrace it, or I just thought I had to fix that, or I had to be more expressive, or I had to be more vocal, or until I realized, that's not serving me, and that's not who I'm here to be. And instead of trying to fix or shame or belittle myself, it was like this awakening to step more into that, because it felt natural and aligned, and my soul's purpose and my calling. And so, yeah, the embodiment always comes first for me, and then the words follow. And I finally have learned to own that, and it feels good, and it feels real, it feels pure, it feels, directly from source and my divine form, and I can finally step into that. So it means a lot to me. It means a lot to me, to my core.
Lovely. Thank you. And with this love embodiment, what is your big purpose? What you talked about your why, but like what is the legacy that you hope to leave?
Yeah, I think, there's that quote, it's like, you won't remember sometimes what people might say to you, but you will remember how they make you feel. And that's the embodiment for me. I'm eloquent with my words, and I can deliver my words with love, but it's really about that feeling for me. It's like, if my space and my love is not only embodied within me, but then reaches out to you, and you can feel my embodiment wrapped around you. That's my ultimate purpose and hope for in life. I often think about when I am gone, and, my book being a part of that. It's like these words and the feeling that I have given others is really what we have left. And how might people express that, and how might they articulate that? And to me, that's always my intention when I wake up every single morning, that if I can not only embody the love within myself and start with that, but if that can ripple out into my environment and to people around me, that's the ultimate goal. And that's the ultimate divine plan and divine, contribution that my soul is here to achieve. So yeah, I think everything is an extension of that. Every creation, every intention, it is with that deep, deep sacred yearning to have that be the main receiving part of it.
Beautiful. Beautifully said. With your offerings and what's coming around the corner with the book, like what are your favorite ways to teach, hold space, this embodiment of love? Like you are the living, breathing example of it. And I am lucky to be a witness, to have you on my phone to navigate through all the stuff. And as I am practicing to move with love, right? So I'm like, oh, maybe that's
we all are. We all are.
Like, I'm
we
like,
all are.
okay, it's a bit tough to move with love today, but like,
yeah.
You're the one like says like to hold space, or like never make yourself wrong, and you just always have the right words to say. But I guess, yeah, what are your offerings, and to, I guess, to teach your learnings, to teach your embodiment of love?
Yeah, so I think kind of in resonance with what I've been saying, I think first and foremost, I think the biggest offering I have is to live and breathe it myself, is to be the example, is to inspire by my own embodiment, by my own navigation process. So it starts there for me. But then beyond that, an extension of that, so many things to come. And I get very excited with what's to come, and sometimes, a little impatient and stuck on the how, but I do trust and surrender all of that. But first and foremost, yeah, creating community is something that's really so important to me. And, within the education world, within the mamahood world, within the soul world. We just all have so much to offer each other by just being our natural essence and our natural self. And so, yeah, that is definitely a part of it. And so the creation of our meditation circles that we've had the pleasure of doing together many times, but yeah, so again, meditation is a practice of my own that I embody. And to me, it's like giving the gift of my own practices, the gift of my own embodiment, to extend that beyond myself. So meditation is a very accessible part of who I am, and something I love to share with others, just to hone in on that daily practice and to really meet yourself and to meet your higher self and source, and to create that space and that accountability for the self. So that's kind of where the meditation circles have been birthed from. And the topics are divine, and they're relevant, and they're juicy and accessible and digestible. And so, yeah, that's definitely a beautiful offering. And those happen usually once a month, with some opening circles and closing circles. And the most beautiful part is the connection along the way, just to have access to each other, to really support each other in any capacity, and to hold that space for each other. So yeah, I see that continuing on many different avenues. As an energy worker as well, Reiki came into my life very strongly a few years ago. And again, just honing into a natural gift that I always felt within, but having more of the words and the structure to be able to, engage in that exchange. So yeah, more to come with those offerings as well. I love working in that space, with that one-on-one setting as well. And just to really tailor into that, lived experience one-on-one basis. So more to come on that as well. And then in the education world, I think it's just ever changing, ever flowing. I'm going to hold strong to my intention to bring to the education world. Right now, it's within the school board, the York Region District School Board. And there's areas that we align and areas we don't align, but I do feel that there's a lot of service in what I want to create within that realm. So I'm not giving up just yet. So I will keep pushing forward with that intention. But I'm also open to where that heads, whether it be my own thing one day or, yeah, I'm very open to where it leads me, staying true to my intention and what I hope to create and how I hope to impact and touch the lives of all types of children. So
Here we go. I feel like you're so ready to be this vessel and just to embody and lead with that intention. And I'm excited to see where the journey unfolds. And I'll be here cheering you on every step of the way. So yeah, talk to us about the book, the launch, and like, where can people find it?
Yes. So our book is off to printing. The official manuscript is written and off. It's very exciting. So we will have a pre-launch June 8th. Where we're going to reveal the title and the cover and a lot of goodies. But the actual official launch date and our little virtual launch party will be June 22nd. And yeah, so I'm working through kind of housing some accessibility to all of these different offerings and links. But the best place to reach me would be through Instagram to get a little piece of my essence and, to just ground in a space. So it is Sara.Pagliaro. And I know April is going to link that for me too, so you have a visual. But I would say that would be the best way to reach me at the moment, and just look forward to many more modalities being attached to that. So yeah,
perfect. So yes, I will put all the links when I post the podcast and when I upload this video on YouTube. So you will be accessible for those listeners that feel the call to lean in, to learn more about motherhood, to learn more about just this beautiful angel, just just go follow her. She is a gift in my life, in my family's life. And I just know however the journey unfolds in every life you touch, like I am so excited to witness the unfolding of your story.
Thank you, my love. Thank you so very much. Thank you.
Well, that's a wrap on the episode. Thank you for joining us. Any last words to the listeners while we have you here, Sara?
Yeah, I think my last little tidbit would be, we are all embodied love. And so don't forget to look within, take that time to really look within, know that you are pure love, know that you are pure source. Give yourself the time, space, grace, love to sit with that, and know that not only is that a gift to yourself, but it will ripple out around you. And that's such a gift as well. So that would be my last little piece.
Thank you for that. So until our next episode, let's share the message. Let's adapt the mindset, live the lifestyle. Let's move with love together. Until next time, have a good day. Namaste.
Thank you.